The first episode begins with the introduction of the Hansing Group, a large food production company under whose name several restaurants operate. We meet Bom, the director of the company, dubbed the ruthless thief of restaurants. His brother Sono also works at the company, with whom he has a tense relationship and rivalry. Their mother, the chairman of the company, informs her sons that the owner of Hansen will be the one who gets 3 stars for the restaurant. Now Bom urgently needs to find a restaurant where the perfect dish is prepared, which is the hallmark of his restaurant, and such a restaurant is located in the small town of Chong. He goes there, finds a restaurant, and sees a girl working in the garden, who swings a knife at him when he steps on her cabbage. This is Yong Joo, the owner of the restaurant, and she grows vegetables for her own dishes and cooks only with high-quality products. Bom explains why he came, but she refuses to cook the dish, as she does not have the key ingredient beef tenderloin from a cow from the Maven farm. He decides to buy the meat himself, but the butcher laughs at his request. He ends up buying a whole shelf of beef tenderloin. Bom brings meat to the restaurant. She finds a suitable piece and agrees to cook the dish. But first he takes it with him to the mountains to collect a special mushroom. When she gets back, she starts cooking. The prepared dish is different from what is served in his restaurants, and he liked it so much that he offers to buy her restaurant. But she flatly refuses and says that people who only think about money don't appreciate the sincerity that is present in food and cooking. The next day, the landlord of the premises comes and says that she has a month to pay for the overdue rent. Meanwhile, Bom learns that a man was injured and is in the hospital because of his fault, and he was officially dismissed from his post as director. He goes to the hospital to apologize, but overhears the victim's conversation with his brother and realizes that he was framed. He immediately calls his mother, but she doesn't seem to care about what is happening, warning him that now his brother is in charge of all the restaurants and he should find another way to prove himself. He shows up at Yong Joo's doorstep and tries to convince her to sign the contract again. She tears up the contract and says she'll think about it if he works for her. He already knows that the company has blocked his cards and taken the car, so he agrees. They draw up a new contract stating that Bom Woo will work for a month. Yong Joo has full control over the kitchen, and Bom Woo has full control over the dining room. To increase the restaurant's profit, he persuades her to cut costs and hire an assistant. They become a local resident who has worked for 15 years in a nearby restaurant. The next morning, he swaps his fancy watches for tables and chairs for the restaurant. Then he tries to attract customers by contacting his acquaintances and friends, but everyone is busy. His attempts end in failure. Upset, he runs out of the restaurant and meets the locals, who invite him for a drink. One of them hands him a bag of spices that Yong Joo was looking for. He returns to the restaurant, apologizes, and hands over a bag of the legendary chili powder. Then a large group of people who like the food comes in. After a busy day, they decide to have a team dinner. They get drunk trying to get too drunk on each other. She heard him drunkenly inform the girl on the phone that he's going to steal Yong Joo's recipes and use them to destroy his brother. She asks Bom why he's really here, assuming that he broke up with his girlfriend and came to this small town to recover. He tries to tell her that he doesn't have a girlfriend, but she doesn't believe him. In the morning, the manager writes to Bom and asks him to quickly get a receipt to start preparing for the opening of a new restaurant. But it's not that easy. At this moment, the landlord enters and begins to show the premises to new potential tenants. The problems are compounded when the restaurant receives complaints about violations of fire safety and sanitary regulations. As a result, Yong Joo is forced to pay a fine. Fires, competition, and challenges all show how heroes work as a team. A bus ride allows our main characters to ignite a spark or two between them. Of course, there are a lot of surprises waiting for us, so good luck to everyone and bye-bye.